Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Praja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27, Text number 11. Muktalingam Sat Abhasam Asate Pratipadyate Satah Bandhum Asat Chakshuhu Sarva Anusyutam Advayam Muktalingam Sadabhasam Asate Pratipadyate Sato Bandhum Asat Chakshu Sarvanusyutam Advayam Muktalingam Sadabhasam Asati Pratipadyate Sato Bandhum Asat Chakshu Sarvanusyutam Advayam Muktalingam Sadabhasam Asati Pratipadyate Sato Bandhum Asat Chakshu Sarvanusyutam Advayam
Muktilingam Sarabhasam Muktilingam Abhasam
Muktilingam Salabhasam
Asati Pratipajate
Asati Pratipadite
To Bandhum Sachakshu
Sato Bandhum Asashakshu
Sarvanasyutam Advayam
Sorry.
Gam Sarabhas Abhasam
Muktilingam Salabhasam
Asati Pratipadyate
Asati Pratipadite
Sato Bandhum Asachchakshu
Sato Bandhum Asashakshu
Sarvanusyutam Hadvayam
Sarvanusilamadvayam Muktilingam Salabhasam
Muktilingam Sadavasam
Asati Pratipadite
Asati Pratipadyate
Satabandhum Asashakshu
Sato Bandhum Asashakshu
Sarvanusilamadvayam
Sarvanushyutamadvayam Muktilingam Sadavasam
Muktilingam Salabhasam
Asati Pratipadyate
Asati Pratipadite
Sato Bandham Asatchakshum
Sato Bandhum Asashakshu
Sarvanushyutam Advayam
Sarvanusilamadvayam
Muktalingam Sadavasam
Muktilingam Salabhasam
Asati Pratipadyate
Asati Pratipadyate
Sato Bandhum Asasrakshu
Sato Bandham Asashakshu
Sarvanusyutam Advayam
Sarvanushyutam Advayam
Okay, Aman.
Muktalingam Sadabhasam
Muktilingam Salabhasam
Asati Pratipadyate
Asati Pratipadyate
Tato Bandhum Asacchakshuhu
Tato Bandham Asashakshu
Sarvanusyutamadvayam
Sarvanushyutam Advayam
मुक्तलिङ्गं सदा भासम्
Muktilingam Sadavasam
असति प्रतिपद्यते
Asati Pratipadite
सतो बन्धुम् असच्चक्षुः
Tato Bandham Asashakshu
सर्वानुस्युतम् अद्वयम्
Sarvanushyutam Advayam
Okay.
Muktilingam
Transcendental.
manifest as a reflection. Asati, in the false ego. Pratipadyate, he realizes. Sata bandhum, the support of the material cause. Asat chakshuhu, the eye, revealer of the illusory energy. Sarva anusyutam, entered into everything. Advayam, without a second. Translation. A liberated soul realizes the absolute personality of Godhead, who is transcendental and who is manifest as a reflection, even in the false ego. He is the support of the material cause, and he enters into everything. He is absolute, one without a second, and he is the eyes of the illusory energy. Purport. A pure devotee can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything materially manifested. He is present there only as a reflection, but a pure devotee can realize that in the darkness of material illusion, The only light is the Supreme Lord, who is its support. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the background of the material manifestation is Lord Krishna, and as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Krishna is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord, by his partial or plenary expansion, is present not only within this universe and each and every universe, but in every atom, although he is one without a second. The word advayam, without a second, which is used in this verse, indicates that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is represented in everything, including the atoms, he is not divided. His presence in everything is explained in the next verse. A liberated soul realizes the absolute personality of Godhead, who is transcendental and who is manifest as a reflection, even in the false ego. He is the support of the material cause, and he enters into everything. He is absolute, one without a second, and he is the eyes of the illusory energy. Muktalingam sad abhasam asate pratipadnyate sato bandhum asachchakshuh sarvanusyutam advayam. Hare Krishna. I begin by offering my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to all the assembled devotees. Please let us know, Jagannath Prabhu, if Maharaj wants to give a comment. So, Kapila Deva is continuing his illumination to his mother. And here he's mentioning that a liberated soul, Muktalingam, the subject here is, or the subject here, like the liberated soul, is inferred from the previous verse. Muktalingam is referring to the Lord. Let's look it up a little bit. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Muktalingam. Lingam is a symptom or symbolic representation, the symbol, the subtle body or false ego, the subtle body. Interesting. So, Kapila Deva is describing that the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental, Muktalingam, he's manifest as a reflection, even in the false ego. Abhasam, manifest as a reflection. The original source, reflection of the original body and senses. Also refers to knowledge. So, asati, in the false ego. Asat, a product of ignorance, temporary, in the temporary world. So here, Prabhupada has understood, according to the commentaries of the previous acharyas, that this is referring to the false ego. Pratipadyate, he realizes, who is that? The liberated soul realizes that the Supreme Lord is, who is transcendental and as manifest as a reflection even in the false ego. He realizes that person, pratipadyate, attains, expresses, can experience, experiences, performs, transacts, takes in, cultivates. So he has actually realized that Supreme Person who is present even in the false ego and who is transcendental. And then Lord Kapila Deva is describing more of his wonderful qualities And this verse reminded me of Uttama Shloka, that the Supreme Lord is glorified in the scriptures by so many amazing poems. And here, Kapila Deva is describing some philosophy, but he doesn't leave out wonderful glorifications of the Lord's qualities. He's saying, the liberated soul is going to realize that person, that supreme person, who is such and such, and such and such, and such and such. So he's going to describe. And this is actually called kirtanam, when one glorifies or describes something. And because the Lord is great, everything about him is great. And all of his descriptions are also great, and they're as good as himself also. And so, Sata Bandhum, the support of the material cause, Bandhum, relative, it's also referring to friend. Sata Bandhum, the support of the material cause. Then, Asat Chakshu, he is the eye of the illusory energy. And Prabhupada, or rather the BBT, or the devotees, they put here revealer, right? So then we hear here, he is the eyes of the illusory energy. And Prabhupada in the purport was describing that it's confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the background of the material manifestation is Lord Krishna, right? It said that he is the what is the word? Does anybody remember that verse, that he's the superintendent of the material energy? Maya Dyakshana Prakriti. Very nice. So he's the background, he's the basis, right? He even says he's the basis of the Brahman, impersonal feature, which is the source of all of this. It says, he is present there only as a reflection. This means that the Supreme Lord is fully present everywhere by his energies. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually describes that this is behold my mystic opulence. I am fully present everywhere. I am in everything, but right, everything rests in me as pearls are strung on a thread. Right? Sutra Maniganaiva. But at the same time, he's within everything, but he's also somewhere else. He's in the spiritual world. He has his individual identity, and he's enacting pastimes. It's not like he's trapped here in this piece of microphone, suffering, like me, inside of this body. No, he has a completely different level of consciousness. But the pure devotee can see that person, as we were hearing, Prabhupada was describing. Preman Jano Bhakti Vilochanena. That when one's eyes are anointed with the salve of love, then one can see the beloved everywhere. And we can understand this only slightly by a material example. When there's a mother or a father, and they see the articles of clothing, the paraphernalia of the beloved child, then they immediately think of that person. Right? And then they see some other boy, and they think, oh, I miss my boy also. I remember when Jimmy was that age, and he was so cute, and we had so many pastimes. Yeah, we call it pastime. It's not a real pastime. We call, right? So then the mother may also see a tree, and they say, oh, I remember we used to go to the park, and we used to go to one tree there, and we would have a picnic underneath, and Jimmy was so happy to climb the tree, and he liked the squirrel that was there. And then one day she eats some yogurt, and she says, oh, my Jimmy loves curd. Oh, he loves this stuff. He cannot get enough of it. And all the time, all she does is think of Jimmy. That's all she does. That's called mother. And it's really satisfying mentally, you can imagine. It's because that boy, Jimmy, needed her as much as she needed him. So it's amazing. So this is Krishna's arrangement in the material world. But without Krishna consciousness, then it's simply a reflection of the real affection that the jiva has for Krishna. And it's playing out in different ways, right? So the jiva is always hankering after that supreme lovable object, Krishna, who is the source of this entire universe and is actually present as a reflection within everything. But we're missing him, right? Until we develop faith and we act on that faith, or we apply that faith in service under the direction of a spiritual master, then our search for love in this material world is always futile. We find ourselves disappointed because little Jimmy didn't reciprocate with me properly. I worked so hard for so many years to help this little boy be a good boy and grow up nice, and now he's doing nonsense, and now he's getting into jail, and he's drinking, and he's smoking, and he's in trouble all the time. And my little Jimmy, how could he do this to me? You know, these are the feels of the material world, you know. And so what does she feel? She feels he actually has disrespected me. How could he do this? Right? Because her senses were not satisfied, and her service to little Jimmy was not completely selfless. She was expecting something. This is expectation. Expectation is very interesting because it gets in the way of so many loving exchanges. Because it's expectation is a type of a subtle control. I'm creating a framework of behavior, and I'm putting a living entity which is by nature dynamic and unpredictable into a framework. And when that person does not act within the framework that I have actually developed for them within my own consciousness, which they might not even be aware of, then I automatically take it personally, and I become offended that they would act in a way which is incongruent with the framework which I developed for them. So it's actually a type of a controller's problem. Those of us that are always expecting and expecting and expecting and expecting, we're not letting ourselves actually have genuine interactions. Because this living entity can act in any way under the guidance of the Supersoul in unbelievable ways which would be completely unpredictable to me. And this is actually it's holding our loving exchanges back. So if we serve with the expectation to be served, then we miss out on the love. And so when the pure devotee, how does he become a pure devotee? Well, he goes systematically, shanai, step by step. He cuts off all the attachments to this material world and trades them. Maya sakta manapartha. His mind attached to Krishna. Mada ashraya. He takes shelter of Krishna. If one is enchanted, if one is attracted by the beautiful form of Krishna, then he is fortunate. Right? And how does one make himself more fortunate? Getting association of devotees, right? We were unfortunate. And from a particular perspective, I can speak for myself, I'm still unfortunate. Because in spite of having contacted this movement, in spite of having seen the beautiful form of Krishna and chanted the Maha Mantras, still I have no attraction for this process of devotion. Yes. Yes, Venkatesh Prabhu. Make sure to use the mic. Can you help him, Prabhu?
So you said that we keep expectations from other people, so that is why we are unable to have an actual exchange.
Yeah.
So what about the expectations we keep on ourselves? So does that also keep us dissatisfied?
Yeah, that's interesting. The expectations we keep of ourselves. Well, generally, I probably have some things to learn about this topic, personally. But generally, I expect myself to be like a superhero. That's how I think, But I'm really not, because Krishna is a superhero. Yeah, Krishna is the best friend of everyone. Everyone loves Krishna, So if I expect that everyone's going to love me, I'll be disappointed. Or rather, if I expect that I'm lovable, I'll be disappointed. Actually, I should expect to be disrespected. I should expect to be disgraced. I should expect to be a disappointment to others. Right? Disappointing. Because I'm limited. I'm a jiva. And I make mistakes. And 4 defects are in my consciousness. And in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami has described that there's actually 18 various defects of a human being. I haven't studied that, but I heard reference to that. And Prabhupada has described in his Ishopanishad introduction that there are 4 defects. There's the propensity to make mistakes, there's the cheating propensity, there's the propensity to become illusioned, and there's imperfect senses, which means imperfect knowledge. So, unfortunately for me, all of those things are knocking on my door at every second. Now, how do we keep those things far away? You keep those things far away by bhakti yoga, by association with Krishna, by service, in service. Association with Krishna in service. But the strength of my service is not so strong, So then we are affected by the modes. And part of this self-expectation, you could say, in the Vedic language is called ahankar or upadhis. I expect that, I will be accepted according to my self-image, right? I expect myself to act as an American or act as this. I expect myself to, perform properly under certain circumstances according to my conditioning, according to who I think I am. But actually I'm none of those things. And one time Krishna Shravana Prabhu was mentioning that there was a temple president somewhere in the movement, and different devotees would come to him, and he would always help them. And the first thing he'd say is, they'd come to him with a problem, and he'd say, Prabhu, you're not that body. And you just think about any problem that you have. And you just give that medicine, that knowledge, Atma Tattva Gyan, and automatically the problem is different. You're looking at it from a different angle completely. Because we're identifying with the problems that this body is having. But I'm not this body. I'm not these problems. It's deep. And actually, even though what are the problems? The problems are sensuality, right? The problems are mental speculation. Yeah? Actually, Rupa Goswami describes that these are really the major two issues. We want to enjoy the fruits in this material world, and we want to speculate on the absolute truth or, some processes of knowledge according to my limited perspective. And these are the two ghosts that are haunting us. And we become crazy when haunted by ghosts. We start speaking some weird things, yelling at people, being mean all of a sudden. If you ever see people that are really, really, they've gone through some crazy stuff. Well, they may just be haunted. Can't think straight. The personality is being hijacked almost. Their body, their mind is being disturbed by these bhutas, these different creatures who are attracted to torturing people who are in the mode of ignorance. But we attract those things by being in the mode of ignorance. Anyway, the point I was trying to mention is the ghosts that are haunting me are mental speculation and fruitive activities, fruitive mentality. I want to enjoy. I want to feel good now. Prayas. I'm not interested in shreyas. I'm not interested in tapa. All right? The only tapa I'm interested in is to work very, very hard, scratching the back of materialists and get me some money, get me some power, get me some position within society, pat the back of my family members so I get some strength, and when the time is right, I cut all of them down and I enjoy. You know? So these are the visions. This is how the acharyas look at the material world. When you read their prayers, you say, what is it? It's so philosophical. It looks innocent to me. It's just innocent. It's just Jimmy and his mom. What's wrong with that? Jimmy and his mom, they're just having a good time at the park, eating curd. And you're looking at it like it's evil. No, it's not evil, right? But if it's without Krishna consciousness, it's perpetuating suffering. It's perpetuating the cycle of birth and death and disease and old age. So it has to be seen very clearly. So amazingly enough, Krishna gives all this knowledge actually. Krishna is actually illuminating in the heart, right? Tesham satata, how does it go? Tesham, not that one, the next one. Tesham abhyabi, what is it? Jnana dipena bhasvata. It's the next verse after this one. Tesham satata, you can look it up. It's it's chapter 10, text 11. Anukampartam, right? I illuminate in their heart with the torch of knowledge, right? The darkness born of ignorance. He's the one illuminating. So he is the sata. How's it go? The sata, asat chakshu, the eye, revealer of the illusory energy. In the Gita, he makes it so we can see it clearly, what this place is, and how we can live properly above these modes. Anyway, we pray to Shri Shri Gaura Nitai, to Srila Prabhupada, if they so desire, we can fully realize this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and apply it in our lives and share it with everyone we meet. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Would anybody like to add something now? Anything? Okay. Jagannath Prabhu.
I do have a question, and I hope it's not offensive. So if it is, please forgive me for my offenses, Gaura and the devotees. But my question is something like, so I think you were speaking something about this topic, but can't remember exactly what you said. But it was, I think it has something to do with like the illusory energy is difficult to pass over, or it's more difficult when you first start or something like that. I don't remember. But I know that you said something in that in this effect. But my question is, like, in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, I used to have a really hard time, and it's better now. I know there's still more struggle ahead, but I was just wondering, and I've talked with devotees in the past, and they've told me that the longer you stay in Krishna consciousness, the easier it becomes. So I'm just wondering, like, why does Krishna why doesn't he give us knowledge if he knows, even if he knows we're going back home, back to Godhead in this life, why doesn't he give us that knowledge to, because he can see the future, so he knows if we're going back to Godhead in this life. So I'm just wondering why he doesn't give us the knowledge up front in order to pass over these obstacles. Like, why do we have to struggle with our mind and with the modes of material nature, and with the three miseries and all these things, and then at the end, when we have all this knowledge, when we've earned all this knowledge, why is it why is it easier in that sense?
Well, yeah, Prabhupada has described in various lectures and things that there does come a time when one is not shaken from his conviction in Krishna consciousness. But as soon as one engages in devotional service, Brahma Bhuya Yakalpate, you automatically transcend the modes. As soon as you're engaged in devotional service. So the idea is to stay engaged. Stay engaged. So it's difficult at the beginning because we're spacing out. Because we're not using our senses and our mind and our voice and our hands in Krishna's service. We just stop serving him. And then what happens? We're smashed with the modes again. And so you say, why do we have to suffer and all these things? Well, we have to suffer, unfortunately, because we're kind of dull. And until we get some pain, then we say, hey, something's wrong here. I'm suffering every day. What's going on? My life is terrible right now. I'm really unhappy. Oh, yeah, Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada, the devotees, they already told me this day one. They told me I wasn't going to be happy. Oh, yeah, they were right. But Krishna gives it right away. He's not hiding anything. He's giving everything right away. And Lord Chaitanya, even more. He gave Maha Mantra. Everything's there. All perfection is there. So it's up to, I suffer as much as I don't take it. suffer as much as I don't apply it. So we want to be around people who really apply it, really intensely. And if we don't connect with them very authentically, then we'll suffer even in their midst. They're applying it, and we might be speculating. But Krishna is so strong, Krishna's name is so strong that no darkness can exist where there is Krishna. So we continue associating with Krishna step by step by step, more and more, and all the darkness in our lives will be taken away. And we'll see the suffering differently. In this material world, there will be no question of no suffering, because we have a silly material body which is breaking down at every second. And we'll see suffering. And when we reach a certain level of consciousness, we won't be so bothered that my back hurts. We'll be bothered that his back hurts. That'll bother me more. I don't care about my back. That's a given. But his back, oh my, I don't want it. There, and if you just think, so many people, they're just suffering so much. And if they just got a little bit of Krishna consciousness, everything could change. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the Sama devotees.